Hey everybody, it's Dr. Schulman, and we're jumping into formative assessment. So, formative assessment is basically asking students during that day or in that moment or before class starts how much they know. I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways that I do it. There's tons more, but this is the way that I do formative assessment. But when formative is just like in the moment or that day, how can we do it? So I'm going to share my screen and start just giving you ideas. This is the way that I've broken it down. It's in the notes page. So we're in formative assessment. So the first one is like, I should probably do the pre-assessment before I do the skill building. No. So to me, when I think of formative assessment, the first thing I think of is building on previous skills to see how much they know. Okay, that's what this means. This is like you're building, you're basically assessing their pre-skills in a way to determine what they know about a past topic or a new topic. This is, well, the first one is this skill building is all from past skills. That's what all of these are. So you're assessing what pre-skills, assessing pre-skills in a way to determine what they know about a past topic to build on a current standard. So that is the first group. And then we'll look at all of them. But the first one is just to do a formative assessment. And what is formative? Formative assessment is like in the moment or during the day. Uh, in the moment before a lesson or during that day to determine how much a student knows. So you can do a pretest like we did here, right? We did a pretest here. I've seen that done a lot. And I should probably put one in. I know I did one with for my calculus class. How much algebra 2 did they know? See if I have a pretest here. No, these are all practice tests. I know I have one somewhere because I've done lots of pre-tests to just kind of figure out what my students know beforehand. So here's a college pre-test that I did for this. There's a unit practice test. Let's see what this one looks like. So a lot of times you can give a student like a pre-test from the very beginning, like how much they know, and you give them the same test at the end. Um, Here's one. The one that I have for calculus is really good, but this would be nice. Here, I'll add this pre-test to everything. So we can put a pre-test in here. And you could also give them the same test just with little slightly difference, and then you could figure out like how much they've learned. Let me calculus one here. Uh, that's okay. Well, I doubt a lot of you will be teaching calculus, but basically it's usually a pre-test is a good way to like give them this test beforehand, then doing it afterwards just to see how much that they know. So again, what is a formative assessment? It's like kind of in the moment before a test or during that day to determine how much your student knows about a concept. The first one is skill building of past skills. So you're assessing pre-skills in a way to determine what they already know. They already know or learned about a past topic. Teach them about a current standard because students are always bringing stuff into the classroom. They're always bringing stuff in about what they already know. So a lot of ways that I do this is with do now. So here's a typical one you've seen before. So why do we have PEMDAS here? Well, PEMDAS usually comes before linear equations. So if they know PEMDAS, they can do well on this. Guess what? Right away, they have a leg up. They've practiced something that they need in order to solve these linear equations. Also, let's say none of them got the fraction one right. Let's say none of them could do this one, or none of them got the exponent right, or even if some of them struggle with this distribution, right? Let's say they couldn't distribute. If I can tell that they all struggled here, guess what? I'm going to spend more time on the distribution questions, or I'm going to spend more time on the fraction questions. It shows me what they should have learned before, so I can focus on what they're bringing in. So maybe I'll take way more time with this first distribution one and really hammer this one home. Or maybe I'll take a lot more time on the one with the fractions if the whole class missed the fractions. So that's a way you can use the do now to kind of inform your skills for the lesson. Another one is here's a couple examples. Here's a geometric example. So there's circumference and area, right? This is just basically a two do now. It's real simple. They're working on these, but then how does that help them? We're doing central angles. So they have to know if they want the length of JK, they need to know the circumference. If they want the area of LM, this is just the angle, but this is all circumference questions. But if they want the area, this is just for arc length, but basically you can do both. But this would be a question. It's like if they can't get the circumference, they're unable to do the problem. They didn't learn how to do the area, they can't get that central angle. So right away, I know where I'm starting from. They didn't learn the previous lesson. Here's a review of the previous lesson, so they're able to handle what's coming today. Same thing here. So this is a bunch of reflections and rotations around a shape, right? And then they're going to do a review for isometry. So it's an isometry review of a bunch of stuff. But if they can't do this on a shape, how are they going to do it around a graph, right? So if we go over this, let's say everybody killed the reflection ones but couldn't do the rotations, I want to spend more time on the rotation questions. So that's just a really good way. And here's one more matrix skills. So learning about your exponents is really important. So you can't do a matrix problems with multiplication if you struggle with exponents. Actually, this one isn't the best showing of what I wanted to do. So we're going to get rid of this one. Bye-bye matrix rules. Okay, and we have the pretest there. Let me just see if I can find that calculus pretest just for fun. There's so many letters of recommendations I wrote for students. Okay, that's fine. If I find it, I'll add it to it. But it's just a good pretest. A good pretest should be like everything that they should know coming in, so you can do pretest in a number of ways. So this one is per unit. This is Sorry, I just lost the ability to click on it. So the pretest you can do of a unit to see how much they learned uh, during the unit, and you can compare their grades before and after, or of a full course to understand how much they know coming in. And that can really inform the way you're teaching, show what you're going to focus on. That's why I had everybody in this course do a pretest before it started. I had you do two, just so you could be like, wow, I really stink at data, or linear equations is just something I really need to work on. So that's a really good thing to do. So you could either do it of a unit to see how much they learned at the end during the unit, giving a similar exam at the end, or a pretest of a full course You understand how much they know coming in. So that's pretty much everything you should think about for like skill building. Now, skill building of past skills. Now, this is pre-assessment of knowledge. That's what these are. These are ways to pre-assess knowledge before it happens. So there's a bunch of ways I do this. So another pre-assessment I do, which is kind of just like me formally assessing in the moment, is I like fraction talks a lot. So fraction talks is you show them a fraction and then you say, what do you notice or see? And you could ask them a bunch of questions. You can draw on the picture. They've got tons of tons of shapes you can use, and you color it in. You can ask them open questions, and this could really help you understand how much they know about fractions. Like if this is 24, an area of 24 feet squared, how much is the whole thing? Or if I color this in, which color in a fraction that represents 10 of it? I always use it on like a overhead where I do them. There's tons of different fraction talks. I've used a bunch of them. There's a bunch of websites that do it too. So I think it's really good. And we're not buying anything. So there's another fraction talks that's really good. Fraction talks questions. That's just great for you to have. Yeah, here's the how-to fraction talks. I'll add it. So this one's really good. So can you give me twice the area, all the same size? You can do this before a lesson on fractions, and really push your students to understand more by just assessing in this moment. So fraction talks, fraction talk questions. All right, another thing that I do as like kind of like a pre-assessment is which does not belong. This you've probably seen in my lessons already, but you have to walk to the corner of the room, which doesn't belong. And then you have to do what? Talk with your group, have one person speak out for the group, and try to convince everybody that you're right. So we've got ones for shapes. Which one doesn't belong? See, they're all really similar. Oh, you can be like, this one's not rounded. You can be like, this one's the only one with 5 sides. Are there better ones? Yeah, this one's better. These look really different. These look different. So, and the students go to the corner of the room and then they debate. But when the students are debating, right, if they don't know that this is a hypotenuse, right? If they don't say that this is a variable, if they don't say that this is 30 degrees, they don't say they're all right triangles, if they don't say that this one has the smallest angle, this one might have the small side. Basically, the words they use, like the words they use here, helps you. It helps you to understand what they know and what they don't. So if they do this one, they're just diagonals, right? They don't know what the shape names are called. Boom. They don't know what's called a diagonal. There's where you start. If they don't know that these are acute angle, those are obtuse, there's where you go. They don't know these are right angles. So whatever the students don't know about is where you go. Okay. So that's pretty much how you can use one of these by listening to how they're debating and knowing where to focus. Here's one of the ones that you've seen in my lessons. And they go to which corner they think is different and why. And then they try to, during the debate, people can move. So you're trying to push people to go to a different one. All right. Other ways you can understand what they know is by just giving them the opportunity. So lots of times I give them vocabulary all the time. So the beginning of this lesson, instead of a do now, they have to tell me what all of these are and what all of these are. So this is a really good pre-assessment for them to say if they know what all of these are, and whatever ones they don't, that's where we're going to build from for the lesson. So it's just a way to pre-assess kind of with their pre-knowledges and use it. Like they all know what a half is, don't teach them it. They all know what less, the difference between less and less than or more than is, You don't have to go over it. If they don't, that's where you can start. Here's another way you can do it. We're trying to build on their actual knowledge coming in is in your own words, write down another way to describe them. So you're using their own words. So if they already know rotation's been around, what do you have to build? The notation for them, or the rules for them, or how to do it. They already know a reflection is a flip, show them how to count from one side to the other, things like that. Um, did we already look at this one? We did. So obviously we don't need this twice. So you can see that you can assess kind of before things happened with do nows or like in the very beginning of a class. But how do you do that form assessment at the end of a class? Well, I think there's tons of ways to do it. I think exit tickets are really common. You can do discussions. You can do, I like open middles at the end of a class. I think open middles are great because they're challenging and they provide ways to kind of assess students where they have to create. So that's a really hard thing for them. That's broken down from first all the way to high school. These are great problems. And you can try one. Let's do a second grade. And I always give them the numbers. I have like big magnetic numbers that I put on the board for them to fill this in to see if they can make this work. It's always harder to do creation every time. The best part is they got a hint for you and they got the 1, 2, 3 answers that could it possibly be. So here's open middle. But one of the best things you can do for students is just give them a ticket, you know. I think discussions are also good. Um, I know that there's a discussion in this one, in this lesson we were just looking at. I think the discussions are great. Because this one has all of those ideas. It has an open middle and it has a discussion and how to run it. This is a think, pair, share discussion where you can formatively assess and students can share. I use this soccer ball always as something to hold so nobody talks over each other, but I think it's a really good way for students, for you to assess how much they know based on a discussion at the end, as opposed to just a ticket. Because I've used tickets a bunch, but it's all about like, am I grading them? You know, are they going to get them back? How much can I grade them if I'm doing it every single day? So I'm not the biggest fan of the tickets, but so we have a discussion here. Example. All right. So I might as well show you some of my tickets. These are tickets I've used. Real simple ratio. Boom, 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 boom. This is this. They got to write their name, date, period, and give me the answer. So easy, so straightforward. Name, date, period, and I score it. And I can give it back to them. I try to fit as many of them on a page as I can. For the matching one, I showed you the matching exit ticket before. I fit 3 of those on a page. I never like wasting paper. So here's another pretty standard one. Exponent rules. This one should have been division. I might as well change that right now. Boom. Oh, well, we just need a line here. So let's just insert and drawing. Might as well just put a line in here. Let's just make it a little bit thicker. So it's correct. It doesn't want to get thicker. Oh, I'm pushing the computer too hard. All right, so here it is. I don't need 2. Just need 1. All right, so here we go. Did I lose the other part? Yes, I did. All right, so this would go right here for this example because it's division. So this would be the ticket that the student would have to do. And this one's out of 3 points. Now, if you want a ton of them, if you don't want to make your own, I gave you all of mine. Well, I just gave you one class. So I try to give you one class of them. Here, I gotta delete a bunch of stuff. So I gave you one full class of these. So you can look through them if you wanted to see a full class of exit tickets. So here's a folder. It's just filled with exit tickets. And they have all the names on it, completing the square, systems of equations, transformations, ratios. Well, what's the transformation one? I'm always curious to see which ones we got. What happened to the function? Real straightforward. So yeah, this is just 1 year of tickets, just a year of tickets. I have tons of them, so feel free to use it. Another way you could have them all together for your students is on a website. This is a website I made, but look, there's tons of exit tickets and vocabulary lists and everything for the course. And here's nothing but tickets, word problems, exponent rules, decimals. I know I have geometry on here too for those who are going to teach geometry. Yeah, triangle problems, parallelogram, polygons, geometric word problems, surface area. So it's like algebra on top, and then it's geometry on the bottom. If we click one, I don't know, let's click a random one. Let's do geometric word problems. So my students had access to everything. Because why not? Why not give them access to all of your stuff? It's just an old course website I made. If it wants to open, we shall see. So that's a way you could just have them all together. It's always good to be organized. So we did kind of like before a lesson or before a course or sorry, so like as a do now, like kind of in the beginning, kind of at the end, but really formative assessments are in the moments, right? That's really what happens. It's like when you're in the moment, what are you doing? So let's look at some that are in the moment. So this is from another assessment. You don't have to do it, but if you want to, you can. This is all protocols and procedures for class. One of the basic ones I do is just graphs. They do this for positive, they do or positive slopes, negative slopes. They just move their arms. And it's so fast and it's fun and they can name what they are, like x squared is a touchdown, absolute value is a flying V. So I have them all move their arms. They get to name what it is. It's great. Uh, this is stuff that's good, like clapping patterns, call and responses, rhymes, flat tire. If you can hear the sound of my voice, clap once. Sound effects, you can do lighting effects. They're all cool, but this is the stuff we want. So these are in the moment. So formative assessing students in the moment. That's what this is. It's in the moment. So you got to have them give a chance to share what they don't understand. So it should contain a quick protocol you can teach students. So my favorite one is fist of five. I've done this a million times, but I always have them hold it to their chest. Zero is I don't understand. Five is I totally get it. So they're not kind of showing everybody what they don't get. The anonymous thing was great. Thumbs up, thumbs down are great. So these are just really fast ways you can do it in the moment. And that's really what formative assessment is. It's kind of like a snapshot of what they know. So you're like, I got to say this again, I got to do this again, or I can move on. You don't want to get to the exit ticket. Okay, you don't want to get to the exit ticket until you don't want to get to the exit ticket and have everybody fail it. You don't want to get to the end of a whole lesson and have somebody fail it. So you can do like pass the marker, constantly just check for understanding. So to me, what is a formative assessment? It's honestly just a big check for understanding, and you should build that in. That's all it is. That's all formative assessment is. Why is it important? That's the whole thing. You don't want to get to the end of a whole lesson and find out that the students did not learn anything. If you do, you're in trouble, right? That's what happens. You're definitely in trouble. So, I hope this was useful. Trying to show you the importance and a bunch of ways you can do it. If you have questions, feel free to reach out and enjoy your day.